My brother stole my college fund to buy his girlfriend a car, so I took his job offer and left him jobless and broke forever. I'm a 19-year-old guy and I've always been invisible in my own family. Not the quiet genius kind of invisible. More like the background character whose name you forget at dinner. My older brother Jason, he's the star. Straight teeth, loud laugh, charm oozing out of every pore, and my mom eats it up. Always has. I used to think maybe I was just boring. I study. I work part-time at the gas station. I keep my head down. After Grandpa died, he left a modest college fund with my name on it, the only person in the family who ever treated me like I mattered. That money became my hope. My escape. Our dad left when I was 8. No long goodbyes, no custody battles, just vanished. He sends a card on Christmas sometimes with a $20 bill taped inside like we're strangers. Since then, Jason filled the man-of-the-house void, and Mom worshipped him for it. Jason's never held a real job longer than a few months, but he always seems to have new clothes, new gadgets, and lately, a new girlfriend. Her name's Sasha. She's pretty and fake sweet, like the girls who smile through you. Lately, I've caught them whispering in the kitchen with Mom, stopping the second I walk in. I pretend not to notice, but my stomach knots every time. At dinner last week, Jason said, "Some people just coast through life with zero ambition," while looking dead at me. Mom laughed, that short, sharp bark she does when she's being cruel in disguise. I said nothing. I never say anything, but something's shifting. The air feels heavier, like I'm about to be erased from my own life, and nobody will even notice. And I was right. Just not in the way I expected. The morning it happened, I woke up to laughter outside my window, the kind that sounds too happy, too loud for a normal day. When I stepped outside, there it was. A shiny, red Honda Civic parked in our driveway. Jason leaned against it, sunglasses on, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. Mom stood next to him, clapping her hands like she'd birthed a celebrity. "Check it out, little bro," Jason said, tossing the keys in the air. "Got Sasha a car. She deserves it." I laughed a little because it didn't make sense. "You bought her a car? With what money?" He shrugged. "Hard work pays off." But Jason didn't work. Not really. He had a part-time gig at a warehouse that barely paid minimum wage. The math didn't add up and my chest started to tighten. Later that night, I overheard them talking in the kitchen. Mom's voice, soft but certain. "It was just sitting there. You might as well use it before it goes to waste." Jason replied, "He's not even going to college, Mom. He'll thank us one day." I froze in the hallway, heart pounding so loud I thought they'd hear it. I opened my banking app, and my stomach dropped. The college fund account was empty. Every last dollar gone. I confronted Mom right there. "Where's my money?" She didn't even blink. Jason needed it more. "You can always reapply for scholarships," Jason smirked. "Don't be dramatic, dude. It's just money, just money. Just my future. Just the last thing Grandpa ever gave me." That night, I sat in my room staring at that car gleaming under the streetlight. The car my future paid for. And that's when the idea of revenge first crossed my mind. Just a flicker. But once it started burning, it didn't stop. I didn't sleep that night. My brain kept replaying their words, like some cruel laugh track on a loop. "You can always reapply for scholarships." Don't be dramatic. You weren't even serious about college anyway. That last one stung the most. Mom had said it with such ease, like it was a truth she'd always believed but never bothered to say out loud. I wanted to scream, throw something, force her to look at me and see me. But instead, I just sat there. I stared at my acceptance letter on the desk. 4 years of planning, volunteering, pulling double shifts, acing exams, all gone with one decision I wasn't even part of. When I confronted her again the next day, she didn't flinch. Don't act like it's the end of the world. You'll figure it out. Jason, sitting on the couch with Sasha draped over him, added, "Let it go, man. You're not cut out for college anyway." I wanted to hit him. Not out of rage, out of heartbreak. He had everything handed to him, and still, he wanted my one thing. And Mom let him. Encouraged him. I dropped out 2 weeks later. I didn't even tell them. What was the point? I started picking up more hours at the gas station. Quietly saving. Quietly stewing. The thing is, I didn't give up on college. I gave up on them. The house got colder after that, or maybe I just stopped pretending it was ever warm. Meals were silent. I was either out working or locked in my room. Jason kept flaunting that car like a trophy, driving Sasha everywhere, acting like he'd done something noble. He thought I'd moved on, that I'd accepted it, but all I was doing was planning. A few weeks after I dropped out, Jason came into the gas station while I was working. He hadn't done that in years. Normally, he treated my job like something beneath him, like I was mopping floors in a prison he'd never step into. He leaned on the counter like we were friends. "Hey man, got a lead for you. Might be better than slinging chips and cigarettes all day." I didn't respond, just kept scanning the same can of soda over and over until the register beeped in protest. He grinned. "Warehouse job. Pays better than this. Sasha's dad knows the hiring manager. I can get you in. You interested or not?" I hated that he was offering me anything, like I needed his charity now that he'd torched my future. But a small voice in me said, "Take it." Not because I needed help, but because I could use it. I nodded. "Yeah, sure, why not?" He slapped the counter like we'd just won the lottery together. "Cool, I'll text you the info." I started the job the following Monday. It was a basic shipping and inventory role at a fulfillment center. Night shifts, mostly. The pay was better. The people were fine. But something about Jason's eagerness rubbed me wrong. He insisted on training me himself, showing me how to log inventory, fudge the overtime sheets like everyone does, and what corners I could cut. "I got your back here," he said, clapping me on the shoulder like a big brother in a sitcom. "Stick with me and you'll be fine." I played along, smiled, nodded, laughed at the right moments. But inside, I was watching, recording, filing it all away. Jason thought I was following his lead, but I was just getting close enough to cut it off when it counted. The warehouse wasn't glamorous, but it gave me something I hadn't had in weeks: time to think and space to watch. Jason barely showed up after the first week. Said he had management stuff to deal with, which apparently meant long lunch breaks and disappearing for hours. But even when he was gone, his fingerprints were everywhere. Inventory logs didn't match deliveries. Pallets were missing small items: phone chargers, brand name razors, headphones, things easy to slip into a backpack without raising suspicion. One night I stayed a little later. Said I was covering a shift. I waited until the others left, then checked the inventory reports Jason had taught me to edit. I took photos, marked timestamps, watched the security cameras on loop and screen-recorded anything that felt off. Was like watching someone build their own gallows one rope at a time. I found out he'd been logging Sasha's name as an independent consultant and marking fake hours under her name, full shifts, thousands of dollars over months. I didn't know if Sasha even knew, but I knew Jason did. And the more I discovered, the more I realized he wasn't just a spoiled brat. He was a liar, a thief, and an opportunist who used people like chess pieces. He thought the job offer had been a favor, a little power move to keep me quiet and humble. But what he really did was give me front-row access to everything. And every night, when I clocked out and walked home through the cold air with sweat still clinging to my back, I wasn't angry anymore. I was calm, focused, because for the first time in my life, I was holding all the cards. It was nearly 3 a.m. on a Thursday when I first met him. I was restocking a shelf near the back when someone stepped into the aisle. Tall guy, scruffy beard, wearing a plain hoodie and cargo pants. He looked too clean, too observant to be one of us. He glanced at my badge. "You're Jason's brother?" I nodded slowly, unsure where this was going. He stuck out his hand. "Name's Eli. I'm doing internal audit work." That was the first lie. I'd later find out Eli was the CEO's son. The real one, not the kind of CEO's son Jason pretended to be when he name-dropped Sasha's dad at parties. Eli didn't make small talk. He pulled out a manila folder from his bag and said, "Your brother's been on our radar. But the paper trail's sloppy. Someone close has been covering for him, or ignoring it. My throat went dry. I didn't say anything, just reached into my own bag and handed him a flash drive. Months of photos, reports, logs, and video clips. He flipped through a few files and nodded slowly. "This is solid. You did all this on your own?" I shrugged. I had nothing else to lose. Eli closed the folder. "Don't tell anyone we talked, especially not Jason. Just keep doing what you're doing. We'll handle the rest." He walked off like a ghost, disappearing into the shadows near the back door, leaving nothing but the hum of fluorescent lights behind. For the next week, I acted normal. Jason was oblivious, still strutting in like he owned the place, barking orders he didn't understand, padding hours he didn't work. But now, the game had changed. I wasn't just holding receipts. I had an ally. Someone bigger, someone higher up, someone who could take this further than I ever could alone. And Jason? He didn't even see it coming. 2 weeks after that night. With Eli, I came in for my shift like usual. Hoodie on, lunch packed, blending into the hum of forklifts and pallet jacks, except this time my badge didn't beep red at the security door. It flashed green, then blinked a message. Access level updated. I stared at it, confused. Then my manager, Jorge, walked over, clapping me on the back like I'd won a contest I never entered. "Congrats, man. You're our new night floor supervisor," he said, handing me a new badge. "Orders from up top. Said you've been solid, consistent, and that we need more eyes like yours." Jason's jaw practically hit the loading dock when he showed up an hour later and saw me in the break room with the clipboard he used to flaunt. He laughed like it was a prank. "Wait, you? They made you supervisor?" I didn't respond. I just pointed at the logbook he forgot to fill, the one I now had authority over. He scoffed, tried to play it cool, but I could feel his panic crawling up his spine. The guys who used to nod to him first now came to me. I didn't gloat. I didn't smirk. I just did the job. Quietly. Precisely. Watching him unravel, one skipped shift at a time. Sasha came by once wearing those oversized sunglasses she always thought made her look important. I heard her whispering to Jason outside, "Why didn't you get promoted?" Jason didn't have an answer, because for the first time, he wasn't the golden child. He wasn't the voice people listened to. And worst of all, he had no idea how close the walls were closing in. I wasn't just his shadow anymore. I was the one casting it. The email went out on a Monday morning. Everyone on the warehouse floor got it. Employee Jason T. is under investigation and has been placed on unpaid suspension pending internal review. I read it 3 times before it sank in. By the time Jason arrived, his badge had already been disabled. He slammed his hand on the front desk, shouting, "This has to be a mistake." Jorge just shook his head. "Take it up with HR, man. Orders from corporate." He looked around, saw the eyes on him, the silence in the room. No one came to his defense. Not even Sasha, who, I later found out, had started ghosting him after Eli's team contacted her for questioning. That night, he came home furious. I was in the kitchen heating leftovers when he stormed in, slammed the fridge shut, and got in my face. "You did this," he spat. "You've been jealous since day one, and now you're trying to ruin me?" I didn't flinch. "You ruined yourself. I just stopped protecting you. That's when Mom got involved. She barged in, hair wild, eyes red, and screamed at me like I had committed murder. You tore this family apart. You're supposed to look out for your brother, not stab him." "In the back," I laughed, and I shouldn't have, but it came out sharp and broken. "Oh, now I'm part of the family again?" Her face twisted with something I hadn't seen before. Not anger, but fear. Because she realized, maybe for the first time, that I wasn't going to take it anymore. Jason collapsed into a chair, head in his hands, whispering, "I didn't think it would go this far." But it had, and he still didn't know just how much further it was going to go. I didn't hear from Sasha for days after Jason's suspension. She stopped coming by the warehouse. stopped posting pictures of the car, went completely silent until one night I got a DM. "Can we talk?" At first, I thought it was a trap. Maybe Jason put her up to it. But curiosity, or maybe the need for one honest moment, made me agree. We met at a coffee shop 2 towns over. Neutral ground. She looked different. No lashes, no filters, no smug smirk. Just tired. Human. She didn't order anything, just sat down, hands shaking slightly. "I didn't know the money was yours." I stayed quiet. "I swear," she said again, "I didn't know about the college fund. Jason told me it was a family gift. He made it sound like your grandpa gave it to him to help us start a future." I almost laughed. The lies came so easily to him, they rolled off his tongue like truth. Sasha pulled out her phone and slid it across the table. Texts, voice memos, screenshots, conversations where Jason manipulated her into giving him access to her dad's company contacts, and bragged about draining the nerd's college stash. "He said you'd never use it anyway," she whispered. "That you were just a placeholder. A placeholder. That's all I'd ever been to them." I took the phone, copied the files, and slid it back. She didn't ask for anything. No forgiveness, no sympathy, just nodded and left. And that night, when I got home, I didn't cry. I felt something colder, cleaner, like the part of me that still held on to hope for my family had finally burned out. Jason thought rock bottom was losing his job. He hadn't seen anything yet. The boardroom wasn't like the warehouse. No metal shelves or diesel air, just cold. Glass walls, slick floors, and chairs that didn't squeak when you shifted your weight. I was there as a formality. A witness, they said, but I knew exactly why I was really there. To watch it happen. Jason walked in, wearing a too-tight dress shirt and a face full of false confidence. He gave me a smirk like this was all some misunderstanding that he'd charm his way out of. Then Eli stepped in. Gone was the hoodie and laid-back tone. He was in a tailored suit now, holding a thin folder. He didn't waste time. "Jason," Eli said, calm as ever, "you've been under internal review for 3 months." Jason opened his mouth, but Eli cut him off. "We have falsified payroll reports, warehouse theft, and unauthorized account creation tied to your ID, and evidence suggesting you used your girlfriend's name to commit vendor fraud." He slid the folder across the table. Jason didn't touch it, just stared at the first page, his face draining. His mouth opened, closed, then opened again. I didn't. That's not what Eli spoke over him. Sasha confirmed everything in writing. "We have her statements, her father's report, and screenshots of your own messages." Jason turned to me then. Not with rage this time, but panic. "Pure, hollow panic. You set me up," he said, voice breaking. "I didn't say a word. You're terminated," Eli finished. "Effective immediately. Legal will be in touch." Jason didn't fight it. He just sat there shaking, like he'd finally understood the weight of it all. Not just the job, but the years of lies, entitlement, and silence crashing down all at once. And for the first time in my life, I saw him not as the golden boy, but as a man with nothing. It didn't take long after Jason was fired for the silence to break. The first message came from Mom. A short text, like nothing had happened. "Dinner tonight. We miss you." I stared at it for a long time. No apology. No explanation. Just a warm invitation coated in denial. Then came the follow-up. "Jason's struggling right now. He needs support. You're his brother. Support." The same word she never once used when I worked double shifts, when I gave up school, when she handed my future over without blinking. 2 days later, I got a call. Blocked number. I answered out of habit. Jason's voice came through, hoarse and uncertain. "I messed up, I know. I lost everything, man. Can we just talk?" He wasn't yelling this time. There was no bravado left in him. Just fear, shame, maybe even regret. But I wasn't the same person anymore either. "I'm not your cleanup crew," I said quietly. You made your choices. He was silent. I waited, then ended the call. Later that night, I passed Mom in the grocery store. She looked tired, worn. She gave me a weak smile. You really going to hold a grudge against your own blood? I looked her in the eye and said what I'd been holding in for years. You made it clear who mattered. Now, I'm just following your lead. And I walked away. I moved out 2 weeks later. Got a small apartment near the college where I was finally enrolling in night classes, paid for with my own money. No more begging. No more waiting to be seen. They taught me that. Family could betray you without ever raising their voice. And now they were learning what silence could do in return. I still have the acceptance letter framed on my desk. Not the original. One that dream got buried under guilt and betrayal. But the new one, the one I earned without handouts, without family backing, without the money that was supposed to get me there. I work full-time now. Same warehouse, different title. Nights are long, and the days blur sometimes, but I sleep better. Maybe because I finally know who I am, and, more importantly, who I'm not. I'm not Jason's shadow. I'm not my mother's afterthought. I'm not the placeholder. I'm a man rebuilding his life from scorched earth. Every so often, I still get texts. We should talk. We miss you. You're still family. But I stopped replying months ago. I don't need their version of love, the kind that comes with strings and silence. I don't need a brother who only saw me as something to step on. I don't need a mother who only noticed me when her favorite son fell. They're strangers now. Familiar, yes, but strangers. What I do have is my own place, my own bank account, my own path, and peace. Real peace. The kind you don't realize you've been missing until the noise finally stops. Some nights I pass by that red Honda parked outside a dingy apartment complex near town. Jason lives there now with roommates and regret. I never stop, never stare, because I'm not looking back. They stole what they thought was my only chance. But what they gave me instead was freedom, and I'll take that over family any day.